Hello everyone. Today I want to talk to you about global challenges. So what are global challenges? Well, global challenges means, the problems that our world has. Some of them are big problems, some of them are small problems. Some of them might be, your own problems, like just for you. Some of them might be problems for all of us, all the people on earth, or just the people in one country, or just the people in one city. And there's a lot of problems that the world has, and there's also a lot of ways that we can fix those problems. But I thought, what's the best way to talk about problems? And I thought, before we talk about the things that are wrong with the world, it's important to understand what are the things that people need. What do we need? Because if we understand what we need, then we can understand, what the problems are and whether they're serious or whether they're not very serious, and also how we can fix them, and how we can decide which problems we need to solve first, which ones are the most serious or the biggest problems for us. So let's ask this question, right? What do we need? What do we need? So that's sort of, it's a few simple words. It's not a hard question, but it's sort of difficult to think about. What do we need? All right, well, I think the simplest answer is that we need to be happy. We need to be happy. But of course, happiness, what does that mean? You know what it feels like to be happy. You know when you're happy, when you're smiling, when you're laughing, when you're with people that you like to be with, or when you're doing something exciting or something like that. We know what it feels like to be happy. But it's a little more difficult when you understand, what do you need to be happy? What do we need? And sometimes that's different from what do we want, right? You might, want a donut, but do you need a donut? Well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit and look at that some more. So to be happy, I think it's really important for us to be happy. One of the really important parts is that we feel safe. All right. So what do we need? We need to be happy. We need to be safe. All right. So now, how can we be happy? How can we be safe? Those are the important things. Now, you might be able to think of some ideas, with some of these words. I know that playing with my friends makes me happy. Wearing a helmet on my bicycle keeps me safe. You might be able to think of some ways that we can be safe and can be happy. But I want to talk about some things that I think for all people, everywhere in the world, the things that we as humans need to be safe and happy. So, all right, I'm going to move these words safe and happy out of the way just for now. And let's look at some of the things that we need. So this is the first one here. Water. We need water. Humans need water. We can't go very long without water. That's what for human beings. We don't have to eat food all the time. We can go, a week. We can go 2 weeks without eating food. You would be very, very hungry. But we can only go a couple days without drinking water before we would die. Water is one of the most important things for human beings. But unfortunately, it's one of the biggest global challenges that the world faces. Not just not enough water, because of course there's water. It seems like there's water everywhere. Our earth is covered in water. But actually getting clean, drinkable water, that's the problem. So not everywhere in the world has access to really nice, clean drinking water. We're lucky in our city, in Tokyo, we can just turn on the tap in your sink and get a cup, and we can fill up our cup and drink it, and that will, be healthy for us, and, the water is clean and it's safe. But not everywhere is like that. So having access to water is something that we absolutely need. Having enough water in our bodies keeps us safe. So again, that will add to our happiness. So, okay, water, that's an important one. How about this word here? Food. Food. Obviously, food, super important, right? Now, we have a lot of food, right? In our city, restaurants everywhere. You can go to the convenience store on the corner. You can buy big dinners. You can buy snacks. We have so much food, really too much food, You could just eat all day long in a city like this. But unfortunately, there's places around the world where there is just not that much food. or people who, even if there are food, maybe they can't afford food or something like that. So food is a really important one. Now, food is interesting because not all food is the same. Right? Some food is really, really healthy, fruits and vegetables and whole grains and, lean meats and things like that are really healthy for us. And then there's some other food that are, sort of like junk food, donuts and cookies and soda and things like that. And that is not what we're talking about when we say the things that we need, right? Now, of course, if you were starving and you ate a donut, that would help keep you alive. Absolutely. But when we talk about food, we're talking about healthy food, the type of food that keeps our bodies strong and keeps us safe. So, all right, food is very important. Can you think of your own favorite food? What's your favorite food? Even if it's healthy, unhealthy, what is your favorite food? There we go. All right, let's look at our next word. This is a really important one. Exercise. Exercise. Exercise is a really, really important thing for us, for humans, right? We need to move our bodies. If we don't move our bodies can get sort of sick and weak, and we can't be as healthy as we can. So by exercising, doing anything, going out for a walk, riding your bicycle, just moving around, maybe even, while you're working or while you're at school, any kind of exercise is really important for humans to keep us safe. If we use our body, if our body gets stronger, then it's easier for our body to stay healthy. So that's definitely something that we need. The healthier we are, the happier, the safer we will be, and also the happier we'll be. All right, here's another one. Money. We need money. Now, not everybody's money is the same, right? Different countries around the world use different types of money. But, we have to be able to trade something for something else, right? If you go to the shop, you trade money for, some bread. Now, money is not the most important thing. Some people might say, I wish I had more money. Money is important, but it's not the most important thing. We just need enough money that we can get the things that we need, right? That we can buy the food that we need, or that we can, do the things that make us happy for us and, for our friends and family. So money is very important, but certainly not the most important thing. All right. This one is really important here. People. So this is like the relationships with people. So this means the friends and the families, the people, your teachers, all the people around you. We need those relationships with people. They keep us healthy. They keep us safe. They keep us happy, right? When you're laughing with your friends, that's making you happier. When your parents are taking care of you and keeping you safe and teaching you new things, that keeps you healthy, safe, and adds to your happiness. People, the relationships with people are really, really important. There's a phrase, no man is an island, which means that people are not islands, right? We need to be with other people around us, and that's a very good way for us to stay happy. All right. Okay, here, medicine. Now, we don't need medicine all the time. But if you get sick, you definitely need to be able to get medicine. Now, again, we're really lucky. Kids in Japan are very lucky because, in Tokyo, the kids get medicine. All their medicine is free. If you get sick and your parents had to take you to the doctor, you could just go and get whatever medicine you need to keep you safe. Now, like I said, we don't need medicine all the time, and too much medicine might be bad for us. But if you're sick, you need access to medicine to keep us healthy. If we get sick, it's hard to be happy. It's hard to stay happy. All right, this is a really nice one for us here at Learning Tree. So this is education. Education means, learning new things, going to school, reading books, learning about the world. Education is really, really important because the more things that we learn about in the world, the stronger our brains get, the better we get at understanding things, and the better our decisions will be, right? If you have to choose between, if you're at the grocery store and you're looking at two different types of food, If you've learned about food and you've learned about nutrition, you can look at those two different types of food and make a better choice that will keep you healthier. So education is really, really important. It helps us understand the world, which helps us be happy, and it helps us make really good choices so that, we can make our dreams come true. Education is definitely something that we need to stay happy, safe, and healthy. Fun is really important too, right? We can't work all the time. We need some times where we're doing just the things that we like to do. What do you like to do for fun? How about this? What is your favorite sport to play, or your favorite activity, like physical activity? I like playing rugby with the saplings too. That's one of my favorite things to do. I also like rock climbing. That's a fun activity for me. Now, do I have to rock climb? Do I have to play rugby? Not really, right? Sports are sort of funny like that because, we don't need to play sports to live, right? If you stopped playing sports, you would still stay alive. But we do it because it makes us happy. And the happier we are, the more successful we can be. Right? So there's a lot of things like that. We don't have to paint pictures, but it makes us happy. And the happier we are, the more successful we can be at achieving our goals. This last one is sort of a funny one. This one says work. And work is really important because humans need to feel like they're doing something important. Right? We like to feel like I'm doing something that I should do and I'm working hard. And so it's really important for us to be able to use our skills, right? When you go to school, you learn new things. Eventually, one day you're going to have a job, right? Maybe you'll be a firefighter, maybe you'll be a doctor, but you're going to learn a lot of those things. To be a firefighter, you have to learn, all about the different equipment that the firefighters use. You have to learn the safe ways to, put out fires, how to help people who are hurt. And then when you get to use those skills, that makes people feel really happy. It makes them feel happy about themselves. Like, I feel like, yes, I can do things. I helped people. And that feeling of like doing work, of finishing work, actually is really important for making people happy, for keeping people happy. So, all right, let's take a quick look. I have this paper here. This is a picture of a nice lady. She's out in a field. And we've got some bars over here that we can change around, right? I can slide all these to make different levels. So if I slide this up here, at the top it says the happiness score. So this is her happiness score. And we can see that right now, her happiness score is super, super high. She's super, super happy. But if I were to move it down like this, right, now her happiness score is super low, right? It doesn't exist. She would be very, very sad if it was down here. Right? So now we want to, as humans, our happiness score to be as high as possible. Something like this. That would mean that you're healthy, you're happy, you're able to do the things you want to do, you feel safe, you feel loved, you feel like you can do things, you feel confident, right? Because maybe you have your education and you feel like you can do all the things that you need to do. So, all right, so let's take a look at how these different levels, like, the amount of food that you get, or the amount of water that you get, or the relationships you have with different people, or your money, or work, or fun, or exercise, or education, how these can all affect your level of happiness. All right, so now, first things first, most times in life, it's not going to be like this, right? Most of the time in life, nothing is like full, Usually, maybe you're a little bit hungry, or you might be a little bit thirsty. Maybe, you have a lot of friends, but maybe today I had an argument with one of my friends or something, like just a small one or something like that. You might have some money, but maybe you didn't have as much as you wanted today to buy something, or maybe you needed to save your money for something. Work. Right? Maybe you feel like, I need to get better at my job. For you, which is, being in school, that's sort of your work, right? I should have worked a little bit harder today, in writing class or something like that. Fun, maybe you had a lot of fun today. That could be, exercise. depending on what day it is, maybe some days you get a lot of exercise, and maybe other days you get less exercise. And education, right now you guys are kids, but for kids, you go to school every day. Not all kids are like that. Not everybody gets to go to school every day. Kids around the world, you're really, really lucky because you get to go to school every day. And, even at home, you're watching this video to get a little bit more education, to learn a little bit more. So I would say, your education is a little bit high, but, all of these levels, like the way they are right now, would equal, a pretty good happiness score. If these levels are high like this, it would be very easy to be happy. Very easy to be happy. But of course, if some things start to go down, it's going to affect our happiness, right? If you're not getting enough food, right, you're going to start feeling really hungry. And, even if your friends want to play, are you going to be able to enjoy yourself if your stomach feels empty? No, so your happiness score is going to go down a little bit. What about if you were really thirsty and you couldn't find any water? If you felt very thirsty, it's really hard to have fun. Maybe, you're out for a bike ride, but if you feel really thirsty, it's hard to enjoy your bike ride. So your happiness score might go around. If you don't have people around you that you trust or that you can play with, if you didn't have enough friends or your family wasn't around, you might start to feel, certainly a little bit more sad. Your happiness would go down. If you didn't have enough money to buy the things that you need, the food that you need, or to buy sort of like, maybe games, puzzles, books, things like that, that's going to affect your happiness a little bit. If you don't feel like you can do a good job, maybe, you feel like, I don't know how to do my writing folder. I don't know how to answer these questions, so I can't work hard. That's going to affect your happiness score. If you're maybe, because of if you don't have enough money to buy sort of books or something like that, maybe you feel like your fun is going down. So, that would affect your happiness score a little bit. If you aren't getting enough exercise, our bodies can start to feel tired all the time, and you just don't have enough energy. If the more exercising you do, sort of the more energy you end up having. So if you don't have enough energy and you're not exercising enough, your happiness score is going to go down. And also education. Without education, if you don't have much education, you can't make good choices. It's hard to make good choices. It's hard to know what to do. And also, it would be hard to follow your dreams. If your dream is to be a doctor, you need to go to a lot of schooling to become a doctor, right? You're maybe preschool, kindergarten, elementary school, junior high school, college. You have to go to doctoral school. You have to do an internship at a hospital. You have a lot of school, a lot of education that you need. And if you don't have very much education, it's really hard to achieve your goals, to make your dreams come true. And all of that will bring your happiness score down. All right, so now let's look at this. If your happiness score was really, really low, some people think, I wish I had more money. I wish I had more money. If I had more money, I would be happy. Well, let's see what would happen. Okay, so we can raise the money. Let's give this person all of a sudden, woof, full money. Oh, that seems great, right? So, of course, initially, maybe their happiness might go up a little bit. But let's take a look. Now, if you have more money, can you have more fun? Probably, because you can buy more books, right? Maybe you can go, you could buy a new bicycle, or you could go on a vacation someplace, interesting or amazing. So you could definitely have a bit more fun. But what about, and food and water, right? You can buy more food and you can buy more water. So if you have a lot of money, you probably don't have to worry about food and water. Right? And you probably don't have to worry about fun. Your fun is probably pretty high. But these other areas, do you see how we can buy food and we can buy water, but can you buy people around you? Not really, right? You can't buy new friends. You have to make friends. And so even having lots of money doesn't make you friends. It doesn't get you real friends, right? Having a lot of money, if you have a lot of money, maybe you don't even have to work. And if you don't have to work and your work score is low, then do you feel useful? Do you feel like you're doing whatever you can do? You feel like you're using your skills? Maybe not. Your work might be a little bit low. Exercise, if you have money, you might be able to do more exercise. Maybe you can buy a new bicycle and go for a bike ride. But, maybe you just buy video games and you sit on the couch and play video games all day, in which case, your exercise would be very low. So money doesn't even if you have lots of money, it doesn't really make your exercise better or worse. So let's just put that in the middle. Education. Now, if you have money, maybe you can go to a better school, right? You can pay money to go to a really good school. But just going to a good school, does that mean you have an education? Not exactly, right? Education is something that you have to work hard for. So just having money doesn't mean that your education is high. So let's take a look. We can put this, sort of just in the middle because it's maybe some education, but maybe somebody wouldn't. So there are some areas that are high. So, the happiness would go up a bit. But do you think we can move the happiness score all the way up here? Full happiness, lots and lots of happiness, even if these other areas are a little bit low? Absolutely not. Even if we have lots and lots of money and we have as much food as we want and as much water as we want, and we can have as much fun as we want, buying things, that doesn't make our happiness score full, right? We would always have things missing because we need all of these areas. We can't just have some of them. So let's look at another scenario, another situation. Let's pretend these are up high. Obviously, if these were full, your happiness would be super high. You would be having a great time, but it's probably not ever going to be completely full, all of these. All right, now what about this? What about if, you had somebody who was mostly happy all the time, their scores were usually really, really high, but what happens if they don't have enough money? So let's move this money score really, 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 really low. There we go. Tiny. Only a tiny bit of money. Well, let's see here. What do you think that's going to affect? What do you think that's going to change? If you don't have enough money, can you buy enough food? Let's see here. No, you can't, right? If you don't have enough money, it's going to be hard to buy food, right? They don't just give away food for free at the convenience store. And water too. If you don't have enough money, it's going to be hard to find water. If you go to the river, you can scoop up water, but that water might not be clean, so it might not be safe for you to drink. Now, you can still have lots of people. You could still have lots of friends around you. You could still have lots of family. So your people score could still be really, really high, even if you don't have enough money. Now, if you don't have enough money, you're probably going to have to work very hard. So let's move our work score up really, really high, right? And let's move our fun score down very low, because if you're working all the time, do you have enough time to, watch movies or read books or ride your bicycle, do the things that you want to do, play soccer with your friends, things like that? Probably not. So let's move our fun score down a bit lower. Exercise. Now, you might be getting a lot of exercise, right? If you were, if you didn't have enough money and you had to work all the time, you might be getting a lot of exercise from all of your work. I don't know what you would be doing, but, if this lady is a farmer, if she has to work all the time to make more money, she might be getting a lot of exercise. So let's move our exercise up a bit. And if you don't have very much money, it's going to be very difficult to get a really, really good education for a couple reasons. One of them is that you don't have enough money to pay to go to a really good school. And the other reason is that if you have to work all the time, like working in the field, farming, do you have enough time to go to school? No, right? So taking away the money can change a lot of these scores. And of course, your happiness score, if your needs, if the things that we need look like this, your happiness score is going to be pretty low, I think. I think you're going to have a a pretty low happiness score. Now, of course, maybe sometimes you're playing with your friends and your score is a little bit higher like this, but other times you might be really, really hungry and your score is going to go back down, right? So this is sort of an example of how, we need to try and get, enough food. We need to try and get enough water. We don't need too much food, right? We need just enough food. We need enough people around us. We need enough money. We need enough work. We need enough fun. We need enough exercise. We need enough education. Really, you can't get enough education. Let's try and put education all the way up here to show that education, we would love to get that education bar super, super, super full. But if you had scores like this, very full or mostly full, things like that, your happiness score will be up here, almost completely full every day, right? And that is going to keep you really nice and happy. And that, that's how humans can be happy. So understanding this will help us when we start looking at the different problems that we face around the world. Kids all over the world have a different set of problems. Some kids don't have enough education. Some kids don't have enough water. Some kids don't have enough food. Some kids don't have houses that protect them. Some kids don't have enough family members or friends around them. So understanding how we can keep people happy, how we can make ourselves happy, will help us understand other people's problems around the world and help us understand how we can fix those problems. So I want you to start thinking about your own happiness. And I want you to start thinking about your own scores, right? How do you think your food is? Do you have enough food? Do you have enough water? Do you have enough people around you? Friends, family? Do you have enough money to get the things that you need? Right? Not too much. You don't need to buy things all the time. You don't need stuff everywhere, but enough stuff, to buy the food that you need, to buy things that keep you happy. Do you feel like you use your skills? Do you work hard enough? Do you have enough fun, enough time to do fun things? Are you getting enough exercise? And how's your education? I know if you're at Learning Tree, we're working hard on your education. So that one's pretty good, but also you have to work hard too, right? Your teachers can't do it by themselves. So now I want you to talk about this with your family. I want you to look at the things and to look at your own life and to see what are the things that you need. Is there anything that you need to work on, right? Do you need to work a little bit harder? Do you need to get a little bit more exercise? Do you need to drink more water? What is it? Look in your own life and try to see what your needs are. All right. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you next time.